They don't see the war in my eyes. Not the kids who tag my building. Not the ones who blast their bass until the windows shake. Not the ones who laugh too loud, fight too often, and vanish too young. They see an old man in a folding chair. I sit outside most mornings. A cup of black coffee in one hand, my cane in the other. Boots planted firm on the cracked sidewalk of East 12th Street. Downtown Columbus, Ohio. I didn't always live here. Used to have a house in the suburbs. Before the divorce. Before the VA delays. Before I realized silence doesn't grow well in quiet neighborhoods. So I came back to the city. Needed noise to sleep. Didn't think I'd be fighting again. But here I am. Watching a different kind of battlefield. One that's louder. Messier, and somehow even more forgotten. I first noticed them in pairs, never alone. That's how you know it's a crew. They'd post up by the bodega on the corner. Hoodies up, always moving, always watching. Not one of them over 20. Maybe a couple barely 16. They weren't just hanging out. They were holding territory. Like wolves circling a block they thought they owned. I didn't care at first. Live and let live. I'd seen kids like them before. Angry, hungry, looking for some version of power. But then came the fights. One Tuesday afternoon, a kid with a red hoodie smashed a glass bottle over another kid's head. Right in the middle of the street. Didn't flinch. Just kept swinging. Until someone yelled, 5-0, and they scattered like birds. I watched it all from my chair. Sipped my coffee. Said nothing. Because that's what the world does now. It watches. It scrolls. It moves on. But I couldn't. Not this time. Because the boy with the bottle? He lived in my building. His name was Mullig.17. Smart mouth. Sharp eyes. Always looking like he was daring the world to give him a reason. I saw him limping into the lobby the next day, knuckles busted and shoulder bruised. I held the door for him. He stopped. Looked at me like I was an alien. You good? I asked. He snorted. What, you care now? Been caring, I said. You just didn't notice. He stared at me for a second, then nodded once and walked past. That was the first brick. You're watching this right now, wondering why an old soldier's telling you about some street kid with too much anger and not enough guidance. Stick around. Because sometimes the war doesn't end. It just changes shape. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Because the stories that matter most are the ones nobody tells. They called me Old Man Miles. It wasn't meant with respect. At first, but I was consistent. Every morning, every evening. On those steps, watching. I never called the cops. Never threatened. Never filmed. I just existed. Like a mirror they couldn't break. Weeks passed. The crew got louder. Fights got closer. Then one night, the building next door got tagged. Giant red letters. This is ours. And beneath it, smaller. Block bleeders. I'd heard that name before. Local gang. Nothing big yet, but climbing. Mullick was in deep. I waited until they came out one afternoon, hoodie half on, headphones in. He tried to pass me without a word. You can tag walls, I said, but owning a block takes more than paint. He paused, took out one earbud. Say what? You heard me? He smirked. You from the Army or some S******? Marine Corps. I said, 2 tours, Fallujah. His smirk dropped a little. Whatever, he said, but slower. You don't know nothing about us. I know you're angry, I said. I know you're smarter than you act. And I know if you don't pick a different direction soon, you're going to end up with more ink on your face than on your diploma. He didn't answer. But he didn't walk away either. Another brick. 2 nights later, I heard gunshots. Close. 2. Close. I hit the floor without thinking. Reflexes don't retire. They just get slower. 3 pops. Then silence. Then tires screeching into the night. The next morning, yellow tape lined the alley. 1 kid dead. Another in the hospital. Neither was Malik. But I saw his eyes that day. Saw how he shook when he thought no one was watching. So I waited until dusk. When the city softened and the noise turned to wind, he sat on the stoop, alone for once. I handed him a notebook. What's this? Empty pages, I said. Fill it with something better than scars. He didn't respond, but he kept it. From that day, we spoke more. Not every day. Not long, but enough. I told him about boot camp, about brothers I lost, about the man I was and the man I'm trying to be. He told me about his mom, about running food stamps across town, about the fight he didn't want but couldn't back down from. He started asking questions. About discipline, about strategy, about what it takes to lead. And I answered, because maybe that's all it takes to start peace. A conversation. One night, he knocked on my door, looked nervous. Hands in pockets. I need help, he said. Come in, I replied. We sat. He showed me a map. It was the block, our block. He pointed to corners. They want to post up here, here, and here. Push fake pills to the middle school kids. And you? I want to stop it, he said. But I don't got the power. You got something better, I said. You got purpose. We made a plan, not with fists, not with weapons. With respect. Malik started talking to the kids, the ones younger than him. He told them about consequences, about options. He brought a basketball to the court behind the building, left it there. It never got stolen. He hosted late-night chess games on the steps. Yes, chess. Said it made him think better. He wrote in that notebook every day. And one day he gave it to me. Read it when I'm gone, he said. I frowned. You going somewhere? He smiled. College. Full ride. Communications. I didn't cry. Marines. Don't cry. But I sat a little straighter that day. The building changed after that. Less noise. More nods. The kids still laughed. Still played their music too loud. Still made mistakes. But they looked me in the eye now. Some even called me coach. And when new trouble came, they told it to keep moving. Because this block belonged to people who gave a damn. If you made it this far, thank you. Not just for listening, but for caring. Because stories like this, they don't make the news. They don't trend. They don't go viral. But they're real. And if this meant something to you, hit like, leave a comment. Subscribe. Not for me. For them. For the kids still figuring it out. And for the old men who refuse to give up. Still watching. Still showing up. Still here. Always.